Today's tutorial, we are going to cover two things. One is called optional, and also how to unwrapping that. There are three different methods, and one is recommended, and the other one is highly not recommended, and there is another one in the middle. Okay, and we also got functions, which is very similar to other language. If you have learned Python or Java before, how can we define a function, how to return a value, and there is a concept called mutating functions. That is, we are going to spend some time today. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, the way I'm doing this is I will create a Xcode file for you. I mean, in this tutorial, and you are feel free to follow me while I am typing. Okay, you can try things out, and if something work or not work on your side, you can just ask that question. Okay. Okay, let's click Xcode, and then we will create a Xcode project. And it's the same as the assignment, right? The command line 2 we are going to use. So we click that, Mac OS command line 2, we click next, and then we give it a name, right? Just give it lab2cmp02, right? Okay, so whichever name is suitable, and we choose Swift, and we click next. And we just I just put it in the desktop. Okay, cool. So in this main file, we just delete everything. Start with the blank. Okay. Okay, first we need to define a Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Sorry, there is some problem. First, let us define a simple function. Okay, function named print hello world. And we call this function by typing the function name that we define here. And we run this file by clicking the little button here. Okay, sorry, I clicked the wrong window. Okay, we can see it print hello world. Okay, so this is very simple, right? No problem, right? So this is how you define a function. There is no input and output. Okay, it's the most simple function. You just use it this way. Okay. And how we are going to define a function like with parameter and return. Okay. So we are going to define a function called add, which we add to integer. So we give it the input. We put the input inside the bracket. Input A, the type is int, and another input is called b. The type is int as well. And we return the result of a plus b. It is also an int. We define the return type with this little arrow here. And in here, we just return a plus b. Okay? And we can call this function like this, bar c equal add, and a equal 1, b equal 2, and we print out the result of c. Okay? Let's see the result. Okay? No problem, right? Okay, so this is called the function call with the parameter. However, the problem is every time we call the function, we need to write a colon, comma, b colon, right? It's very, redundant if you wrote this every time. We want to use something like this, right? 5, 3, 4, right? It just give us an answer like 7. It's very intuitive, right? So how can we do this? So in order to do this, we want to introduce another concept called like anonymous parameter. So what is anonymous parameter? It's like we can define another function called add v2, and this is we call v1. Okay, v2, and this time is the same as before. It is exactly the same, except that we add this little underscore before each parameter. This underscore means we don't want the user, who use this function, to know the name here. We just use it internally. We just use it here, but we don't want the user to specify A and B, right? So by this way, we can see B equal add v2, and you see it tell you A, but when you see in 3 and 4, you don't need to use this. Okay? This is just a concept that sometimes it's very useful. Sometimes it's useful in this case. Okay? So we can run it again. Okay? Any questions? So far, so good? Oh, good. Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk about the option. So optional is something called optional. So optional is something like when we just define a variable, like say first name, string equal my name is hidden, right? So last name string equal 1. This is usually how we do it, right? But what is optional and why things like optional exist? It is when like you want to say something like middle name. Okay. So what is middle name? Is like someone have the middle name, but someone don't, right? So it can be something like James, or it can be like nothing. I don't have a middle name. So in order to define that things like this that can sometimes exist or sometimes not exist, we come up with the concept in Swift that called optional. You just type a question mark in the end, like this way, and then you can just assign value as normal. Sorry, Johnson, I just saw you in the waiting room. By the way, the university have changed the rules in the zone from yesterday, I think. So everyone has to be in the waiting room waiting for me to give permission. It's sometimes I didn't see it, so you have to wait a little longer. Sorry about that. But this is the enforced rules that set up at the school. So the middle name, let's say we can in this time we can say equals new, right? I don't have a middle name, and this is exactly the same if you don't write anything. This line 73 and the line 27 and line 28 is the same meaning. So it's just a shortcut if you don't write anything. Okay. So later on, I can see middle name equals James. Or I can set it to new, right? This is optional. The biggest option, the most important part of optional is that it can be something and it can be new, right? So I can compare the field without problem, right? However, if we set first name equal to new, what will happen? We cannot even build the file. It says build file. See the little the icon here. So it cannot pass the test the test that it's called test your code. So because Swift won't allow that thing to be new unless you explicitly saying that you can be new with this question mark. That's the difference. There are things you can think about when to use optional and when to not. So something that can be new at some point of time, you must declare it to be new, right? Sorry, you must declare it to be optional, okay? And so here the question remains that like, what if I have to comment this, right? So what if I want to use the value in here, right? So we can just use the first name without problem. But what if I just want to print the middle name, right? Even though the middle name, like say, it has a value James, so when I print it, it will give me this weird thing called option. See, I print the first name, it gave me hidden, but when I print the middle name, it gave me optional bracket James. Okay, so it like there is something inside, but we use the optional to wrap it. Okay, so then we got a natural question: how can we get this thing out? Right? It's called unwrapping, right? Unwrapping the optional. The value, right? The value insert an option. Okay, so how can we get the gems out of the option? Okay, so you can see that in the protocol, it teaches you 3 ways, like if, like, var, and guard, and false, right? So basically, this is the 3 ways you can deal with the unwrapping. However, only the first 2 are safe way and recommended. And actually, it's only the first one that is most recommended. And the last one, false, is not recommended. And I will walk you through these 3 one by one. Okay. So how can we unwrap an value? Okay. So let's say we have a function. Okay. We learn it by an example. Okay. Let's say we have a function called print full name. And we see like first name I, string, last name L, string, right? And then we have our middle name, right? And string is question mark, okay? And then we want to say like, okay, if I got a middle name, it's not new, right? I want to print the full name, right? Otherwise, else I want only print like first plus last, right? In this way, I want to print first plus middle plus last. Okay, clear? Right? So how can we do this in other language, or in the logic? What's the logic here, right? So we want to check if middle name, right? So I probably want to use this as the for. Right? Okay, just use this. You know what I mean. Okay, if I'm not equal to nil, right? So we want to print this thing, right? Else, if it is nil, like I don't have a middle name, then we print this out. Okay. That's not equal, right? Yeah. However, yeah, this is the logic here, right? So when we are using other language, this is exactly the right code to write. You have to examine the value if whether it is new, and then you based on the condition you write the logic, right? Okay, so in order to do this thing more elegant and more feel like nature, so Apple and Swift design a new way. It's called if, like, and var. Okay, so we just use this one, but we just use like if and like m equal n, and we delete is not equal to nil, and it is exactly the same meaning, same logic to if m not equal to nil. Okay, so if like m equal m is exactly the same meaning if m not equal to nil. And then we can use m here. So let's try them out. Print full name. So first name, Hayden, last name, Fong, and middle name, let's say James. Okay. So let's build this graph. See, this is exactly what we want, right? Hayden James Fong. And it's also okay if we pass in a new. It will also work fine. Right? See, Hayden James Fong, Hayden Fong. Okay. Alright, so good. Any question about this one? So this thing we call it if, like, and var and wrapper. So this is I use if like. So if we change this to var, it's the same, and it's the same meaning difference between like and var. You can change the var inside, but you cannot change the thing if you use like. Okay. And it's this warning only tell you, okay, you use it like var, but you never change it. Consider to change it back to like, but it's not, I mean, a must. You can do it and you cannot. Yeah, it's your choice. Okay. So this yellow warning is just a warning, not error. Okay. So we have another way. Is everyone clear? Oh, it's just me talking. Are you following? Okay, cool. Okay, so then another way to unwrap this, just use false. I'll just show you the wrong way after the right way. First unwrap. This is the most simple syntax, so that's why even it is wrong, I mean it's not wrong if it is not recommended. A lot of people using it. It's just we just use middle name plus exclamation mark. That means you just use a hammer to crush the box around the optional value, and you force pull it out, no matter there is something or not. If there is something, okay, you are lucky, you got no problem. If there is nothing, you just hurt yourself. Okay? Let me show you what do I mean. So let's print this thing. You see, it print James here. Okay, so if I use false and wrapping with value, and what if like I change middle name equal to new, and I do the same thing again, and this time we are doing like with new. What will happen? First, you could see it build successful, and then you think there is no problem, and ball crash. Okay, and it says fatal error. unexpectedly found a nil when unwrapping an optional value. Okay, so basically when you use exclamation mark, you tell the program, okay, I'm very confident that there is something in the box. That's why the program says, okay, you tell me there is something. Why I unexpectedly found there is nothing in it. That's why it crashed. Okay. So never ever wrote a program like this. I think it will, if it's for assignment, you may lose some marks. If it's for the actual work, you may lose your job. I'm not kidding. Okay. So do not use it unless you have. So sometimes you have no other method, but that's very rare case. Okay. So try to use this thing first. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is the most recommended, the most recommended, the right way of doing it. And there is another way called guard, right? It's right in the point part, right? So what this thing mean and why this thing exists? Let's copy this function, I think. Okay. Let's call it like v2. And yes, we don't have okay. With guard, okay, this is the naming convention of Swift. Okay, with guard. So this time, let's say, you can see that every time like I want to use the m, I have to use it inside here. So all the logic code goes here. So what if there are a lot of code, right? It works fine, but it will look very ugly and not nice to have, right? So what if you have another if else here, right? Since this if else is you must have, and most cases you have your own logic that if else, etc. Right? So it will become nested if else, which is the first thing, the last thing you want to see in your code, right? So this is exactly why we need guard. We want to keep things neat and easy to read. So we don't want to put a lot of code here. So we want to put things outside. That's why we want to use things here, like we want to put the logic. So if there is a lot, we want to put the logic from here to here, right? And now we just delete all we just delete the bracket, the brace here. We just delete it and change the if to guard. That's it. That's it, the syntax. It's very easy. And sorry, I missed one more thing. Is that using guard, you need to return when things goes wrong. Like in else means things is not going as you expected, right? So you want to return this program. That's why I'm not very liking this syntax, because it's hard to use this return. Okay, anyway, let's say if we print the m here, the middle name here, and after the guide, we change it to like, it's also okay. And we print it in here again. what we will see? We will see the difference. Okay, so if we change the first name and last name and James. Okay, so let's okay, so I'm wrapping with guard. See, I'm wrapping with guard, optional gems and hidden gems file. Okay, so before this line of code, it is still a optional, like the gems is within the box, and this thing is just open it, and okay, handle it to you, and you can use it freely, and as it is, there is no box at all. So after this bunch of code, line of code, we can use m like unwrapped. Okay, just use it at gems. Okay, maybe I can like this is more clear, right? So optional gems and gems. Okay, any questions? Maybe you have a label with a name. Okay, let's say we have a label of string, right? This is not called unwrapping. Okay, because it is a different concept. So this thing you mean you want to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? Is that what you want? This is a thing called split. Like maybe a single number. Okay, single number. Like 12, right? Okay. You want to change this to int, right? So this thing itself is a string, right? Okay. So let us change it to okay the number of it. Here. So we want to change the int from the label, right? This is what you are talking about. We can try, right? Okay, it says optional 12. Optional 12. Why is that? Because you can see that, okay, we didn't specify the type, but the number type here, so the type on the left side equal to the type on the right side, okay? So the type on the right side, this type is int, optional. Why? So int means you use this thing, you're trying to convert XX into an int, right? But sometimes it don't know how to convert. For example, how can you convert a thing like this? How can you convert ABC into an int? Or what's the number of ABC, right? So if you let's say E equals int like ABC, right? So we print E is new. Okay, so the int this converting function can return you. So that's why this thing can return you with an int or new. This is exactly equal to int question mark, right? So back to this thing. So if we got this thing, So var equal to this. If we want to know if there is an int or not, we can use the same technique we learned today, right? If like var equal. Okay, so Jensen asked, how do you store it? This is how I store it, the number in UN. So convert and store all in one line. You can name it another. This is how you store into another name. Okay? You can change the name here and use all the logic here. Write all your logic inside this if column. That's it. That's our today's content. I will see you next week.